Phyllis Summers thought she could control the situation. She thought she could outplay Victor Newman. But she never imagined the person who would explode first would be Diane Jenkins. Because the moment Diane realizes Phyllis has been negotiating over Jack Abbott's life, everything changes. And before the shock settles, Nikki Newman storms into the room with a truth that hits even harder. Jack Abbott isn't just missing. Victor Newman is holding him hostage. The revelation spreads through Genoa City like wildfire. But it starts quietly. Inside the Newman ranch. Phyllis had come to see Nikki. At first the conversation feels cautious, careful. Both women know something is wrong with Jack's disappearance, but neither of them has the full picture yet. Still, Phyllis has been thinking. Too many strange moves from Victor lately. Too much pressure being applied behind the scenes. And Phyllis knows Victor better than most people realize. When Victor starts pulling strings this quietly, it usually means he's already several steps ahead. Phyllis begins laying out the details. Victor's sudden silence. The timing of Jack's disappearance. The strange tension building around Newman Enterprises and Chancellor. At first, Nikki tries to dismiss it. She doesn't want to believe it. She doesn't want to imagine Victor doing something this extreme. But as Phyllis continues explaining, the pieces start falling into place. And suddenly Nikki's expression changes. Her face goes pale. Then angry. Because once she sees the pattern, she can't unsee it. Jack didn't vanish on his own. Jack was taken. And the only person ruthless enough to orchestrate something like that is Victor Newman. The realization hits Nikki like a physical blow. She stands up so quickly her chair scrapes across the floor. Phyllis watches carefully. She knows Nikki is about to explode. Within minutes, Nikki marches straight toward Victor. She isn't calm. She isn't diplomatic. She is furious. Victor is standing in his office when she enters, calm as always, composed, almost as if he was expecting this moment. Nikki doesn't waste a single second. Her voice is sharp, direct. She demands the truth. Did Victor have something to do with Jack Abbott disappearing? Victor studies her quietly. For a long moment he says nothing. Then he gives the answer Nikki feared most. Yes, Jack Abbott is exactly where Victor needs him to be. The words land like thunder. Nikki stares at him in disbelief. She asks him how far he's willing to go, how far he's willing to push this twisted power game. Victor doesn't apologize. To him, this isn't cruelty. It's strategy. Jack Abbott is leverage. Nothing more. Nikki's anger explodes. She tells Victor he's crossed a line he can never uncross. Jack isn't a pawn. Jack is someone who has been part of their lives for decades. But Victor doesn't move. Doesn't soften. Because in Victor Newman's mind, winning the war always comes first. And right now he believes this is the only move that guarantees victory. Meanwhile, another conversation is unfolding that could make the situation even worse. Phyllis Summers has already started negotiating. Not publicly, not loudly, but quietly. She approached Victor earlier with the idea of making a deal. A dangerous one. Phyllis believed that if she could reach an agreement with Victor, Jack might come home safely. But the moment Diane Jenkins hears about this, all hell breaks loose. Diane confronts Phyllis without hesitation. Her voice cuts through the room like a blade. She demands to know why Phyllis thinks she has the right to negotiate over Jack's life. Phyllis fires back immediately. She reminds Diane that at least she's doing something. At least she's trying to bring Jack home. But Diane sees it differently. To Diane, Phyllis isn't helping. She's making things worse. She accuses Phyllis of playing games with Victor, of feeding Victor exactly what he wants. The argument escalates quickly. These two women have never trusted each other. Now the stakes are higher than ever. Voices rise. Old grudges surface. Every insult they've been holding back for years suddenly spills out. Phyllis insists that if she hadn't stepped in, Victor would already have tightened his grip on the entire situation. Diane refuses to believe that. To her, Phyllis is reckless, emotional, dangerous. And if Phyllis pushes Victor too far, Jack could pay the price. But even as they fight, a terrifying truth hangs in the air. Neither of them knows exactly where Jack is. And every hour that passes makes the situation more dangerous. Because Jack Abbott isn't just locked away somewhere. He's trapped with someone who may be even more dangerous than Victor himself. Patty Williams. Patty sits across from Jack in a dimly lit room. Her expression shifts constantly. One moment calms. The next moment unpredictable. She talks to Jack like they're old friends. Then suddenly she begins accusing him of betrayal. Jack tries to stay calm. He knows Patty's history, he knows how fragile her mental state can be. One wrong word could trigger something disastrous. So Jack chooses every sentence carefully. He speaks slowly, gently, trying to keep Patty grounded, trying to keep her calm. But Patty's mind drifts between reality and old memories. And Jack begins to realize something terrifying. Patty might not actually be following Victor's instructions the way Victor expects. Which means if Patty suddenly loses control, Jack's life could end before anyone even realizes what happened. Meanwhile, across Genoa City, another dangerous mission begins. Nick Newman and Sharon Newman are racing against time. They're trying to find Matt Clark. Because Matt Clark may be connected to everything happening right now. Their only lead came from Sienna Bacall. A single name. Reza. Sharon immediately recognized it. Because years ago, Adam Newman had connections with someone named Reza. Back when Adam lived a very different life. Back when he was known as Spider. Nick and Sharon bring the information straight to Adam. The moment Adam hears the name Reza, his entire posture changes. Because that name belongs to a world he worked very hard to escape. Vegas. The underground. Deals that happen in shadows. Adam listens as Nick and Sharon explain everything. Matt Clark's involvement in the drug network. The possibility that Reza is hiding him. And the fear that Matt Clark could already be planning his next move. Adam stays quiet for a moment. Because helping them means stepping back into the spider world. But if Reza is involved, Adam might be the only person who can find him. Finally, Adam nods. He'll start digging. He'll reach out to old contacts. And if Reza is anywhere near Genoa City, Adam intends to find him. But as Adam walks away to begin the search, one thought refuses to leave his mind. Sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. Sometimes it waits. And the moment you open the door again, it pulls you all the way back in. Adam Newman thought he left the spider life behind forever. But the moment he begins reaching out to old contacts, he realizes something unsettling. The spider name still carries weight. Messages start returning. Whispers begin circulating. People who once operated in the Vegas underground suddenly want to know why Spider is asking questions again. Adam keeps his focus narrow. He only asks about one name. Reza. At first the responses are vague. Cautious. Nobody wants to talk openly. But slowly pieces of information start appearing. Someone spotted Reza recently. Near the Midwest. Moving quietly. Staying off official records. And if Reza is hiding someone, that someone could easily be Matt Clark. Adam realizes this investigation is becoming more dangerous than he expected. Because the deeper he digs, the more attention he attracts. Meanwhile, Nick and Sharon wait anxiously for Adam's update. Every minute feels longer than the last. If Matt Clark is found, they might finally understand what he's planning. But if they fail, Matt could strike again. Back at the Newman ranch, Nikki is still furious. She refuses to accept Victor's cold logic. To Nikki, Jack Abbott is not collateral damage. Jack is family. And she demands that Victor release him immediately. Victor doesn't budge. Instead, he presents a proposal. A deal. Victor suggests that he may be willing to surrender Lily Winters and the twins connected to the Chancellor situation. It's a huge concession. One that could reshape the entire corporate landscape. But Victor's offer comes with a shocking condition. In exchange, he wants full control of Newman Enterprises. Every division, every asset, total power. Nikki is stunned. She cannot believe Victor is willing to push things this far. To her, this isn't strategy anymore. This is obsession. Meanwhile, the Abbotts finally receive a lead. A possible location tied to Kenosha. More specifically, a marina. The information isn't confirmed, but it's the first real clue anyone has had about Jack's location. Immediately, plans begin forming. People prepare vehicles. Calls are made. If Jack is anywhere near that marina, they intend to find him. But the situation is already more dangerous than they realize. Because inside the hidden room where Jack is being held, Patty Williams is becoming increasingly unstable. She watches Jack closely, her eyes searching his face. Sometimes she smiles. Other times her expression turns dark. Jack continues trying to keep her calm. He tells her stories, tries to remind her of better memories. Anything to keep her grounded. But Patty's mood swings are getting worse. And suddenly she asks Jack a strange question. Does he trust her? Jack answers carefully. Of course he does. But Patty doesn't look convinced. Her smile fades, and she whispers something that sends a chill down Jack's spine. She says sometimes people deserve punishment, even if they don't understand why. Jack realizes the situation is slipping out of control. Back in Genoa City, Adam finally receives a message that changes everything. A contact confirms that Reza has been seen recently. Very recently. Not far from where Matt Clark was last traced. Adam stares at the information. Because if the report is accurate, Reza is closer than anyone expected. Which means Matt Clark might be close too. Nick and Sharon immediately begin preparing to move. They want to confront Matt Clark before he disappears again. But Adam hesitates. Because finding Reza won't be easy. Reza doesn't meet people openly. Reza tests them first. Which means Adam may need to fully embrace the spider identity again. The version of himself he hoped never to become again. Meanwhile, the Abbott family prepares to investigate the Kenosha marina. Every second matters. Jack could be anywhere. Hidden in a boat. Locked in a storage building. Trapped somewhere nearby. But as search teams begin moving toward the marina, none of them realize that inside Patty's hideout, something has just changed. Patty stands slowly, looking down at Jack, her expression unreadable. Then she reaches for something behind the chair. And Jack suddenly understands. Whatever happens next could determine whether he ever leaves this room alive. So the question now is terrifyingly simple. Will the Abbotts reach the marina in time to save Jack? Or will Patty Williams decide that Jack Abbott's story ends tonight?